Heather Swift and welcome to My Small Kitchen. On today's menu, I'm going to be cooking a pepperoni pizza with ground turkey meat. So let's go over all the ingredients that you're going to need for this recipe. So we have ready to bake pizza dough, half a pound of ground turkey, shredded mozzarella cheese, pepperoni, and pizza sauce. Now this ready bake pizza dough is pretty easy to find. This one I bought at Trader Joe's. I have, however, seen it at Vons or Safeway. And if you don't have turkey meat and you prefer ground beef, that works in this recipe fine as well. Okay, so let's get started. We're gonna first start with browning the turkey meat or ground beef, whichever one you prefer. So we're gonna go ahead and get the the stove going. And you can do it at high, just so we can get this cooked pretty fast. I always like to add a little bit of olive oil to my pan just so there's no sticking. And throw it all in there at one time. And just kind of smash it around so it breaks up. We want little pieces of turkey in our pizza, not like a huge meatball size. So it usually takes about 5 to 7 minutes for that turkey to brown. So the turkey meat is done, and the way you know it's done is there's no little pieces of pink turkey left in there. Notice that there's a little bit of liquid in your turkey meat after you've cooked it. That's part fat from the meat, but it's also some of that olive oil that you put in there. So I like to drain my meat before I put it onto the meal. Alright, so we're ready to start assembling the pizza. And so what we're going to do is we have our pizza pan here, and you want to spray it with some kind of non-stick cooking spray first. And if you have a little bit of pasta flour laying around, you can even sprinkle a little bit of that. But it's really going to help get that pizza off the pan when it's time to serve it on the table. So we put our dough on the pan and we start working with our dough. And you want to kind of do this process fast, as most doughs, but especially pizza doughs, they don't like to be fussed with very long. So I just kind of start spreading it out in the pan. And once I kind of get the shape I want, I work from the middle out, just kind of pushing it out to the sides until it gets, to the shape you're looking for. Okay, so I've got my pizza all shaped out in the shape I want it, and it's a square. And the funny thing is, I've noticed with this ready to bake pizza dough from the stores, for some reason it just wants to shape itself in a square. And I'm not sure if it's the way they package it or what, but I've just figured, you know what, my family will eat it in a circle, my family will eat it in a square, it's no big deal. So once you get that pizza dough ready, the next thing you want to do is you want to go ahead and take a fork and just poke some holes in it, just all throughout the pizza dough, because we're going to throw this into the oven for just a few minutes and let this cook before we put any ingredients on it, just to make sure that dough is completely cooked. So I'm going to put my pizza dough in the oven for just a few minutes just to let it cook before I add any more ingredients. My oven is sat at 475, and the reason it's sat at 475 is because that's what my ready baked dough called for. So you want to set your oven to the temperature that your dough asks for. So let's get this in here, and I'm just going to set the timer for 2.5 minutes. So we got the dough out of the oven, and it still is going to have a doughy look, and that's okay, because remember, we just cooked it for 2.5 minutes, and it's going to go back in the oven with all the other ingredients on it, and it'll get that final finish cook. So we're going to start the pizza with our pizza sauce, and this stage is kind of preference from here on out. If your family likes lots of pizza sauce, put tons of pizza sauce on there. If they're not huge sauce eaters, then don't put as much. If you're cooking for kids, what I've kind of found out is they like more cheese and less sauce. So once we get our sauce on there, we're going to add our pepperoni. And now you can do this any way you want. You can do pepperoni, turkey, turkey pepperoni. The thing I've noticed that works best is to put the cheese on last. I feel like the cheese kind of holds everything on there, and it keeps it from sliding off in your oven. So we'll add the pepperonis. And now we'll add our turkey meat. And then once our turkey meat's on there, we're going to go ahead and put cheese on the top. Once again, this is total preference for you. If you like lots of cheese, put lots of cheese on there. My family's big cheese eaters, but for some reason on pizza, we tend to not like as much. So I'm just gonna sprinkle enough on there to cover everything, but not overpower everything. Okay, so our pizza is ready now to go back into the oven. And because we did that 2.5 minute bake earlier for the crust, the cheese can now determine how long you bake the pizza. It usually takes about 8 to 10 minutes, but you just want the cheese just to get a light golden brown color on it, and that'll determine when your pizza is ready.